Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That? Today, we have something called Tamago Gani. Now, by the words alone, what's Tamago Gani? I don't know. I have no idea what Tamago Gani means. But what I can tell you is if you look closely inside this bag, there's tiny little crabs in there. And I'm not just talking crab legs and crab claws. I'm talking entire tiny little crabs. So that's what we're eating on this episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That? The package, as you see on this side now, that's kind of weird. The package is, looks kind of complicated. I couldn't actually figure out how to open it up. So I came prepared today. I got scissors, so here we go. We're cracking open the Tamago Gani. It smells like fish. That's not so, oh, they're in little trays. Oh my goodness, they're adorably, nicely leveled. And you can see in there, there's a little plastic tray for all your little crabby friends. And let's pull out one of these little crabby friends and let's take a closer look at it before I decide to eat it. So they are, as you can see, maybe or maybe not, these are entire little crabs. It's got the head, it's got the legs, it's got the claws, and you're supposed to eat everything. So, like I said, it smells kind of fishy. I would say it smells like fish food, like that dry, flaky fish food you get. The other thing is, like, what I'm used to, I've eaten crab and lobster, obviously, like lots of people have. I'm used to it being sort of juicy and wet, and it's boiled. This is dry. This is like, these are, you know, next to the microphone, these are rock hard and dry, and they've been sitting in a bag for a while. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work, because normally crab's supposed to be kind of wet and juicy and covered in butter. These do have sesame seeds on them. That's the one glimmer of hope I have, is they're covered in sesame seeds, so maybe they'll be okay. But let's try the some Tamago Gani, whatever that means. I assume I'm going to say it means little hard crab. So let's try one out. The texture is actually better than I thought it would be. The flavor is pretty much on par with what I thought it would be. And they're really dry. I mean, it's really dry. It's like sucking the moisture out of my mouth. It's like I've had a spoonful of cinnamon and my mouth is just trying to rehydrate. But when it rehydrates, it just tastes more like dried, yucky fish stuff. It's not good. It's really dry, except it's a lot softer than I thought it'd be. I kind of thought I'd have kind of a harder crunch to get through the shell, but it sort of disintegrates. It sort of almost feels like a cracker to some degree. I had something called honesembe once, which is a cracker made out of fish bones, and it's literally just a flattened out fish bone, and you eat it, and it was a lot softer too. And so there's something about how they do it that they can really soften these shells up, but the flavor is just, it's not spectacular at all. It's kind of gross. But you know what? I think I might try something a little different with this episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That? Why don't we try putting these crabs into their paces and put some toppings on them to make them better? So we're back with our Tamago Gani, which are, you know, as I tried before, we had like a little plain little sort of sesame crab. And I thought, there must be a way to improve these things, because right now there's just these dry sort of fish foody tasting things. Had a kind of interesting cracker texture at first, but then they would just dry out your mouth. And I thought, what better way to keep your mouth from going dry than add some sauces to our Tamago Gani. The first sauce I thought I'd try is a little bit of mustard. Now the mustard, I figured, mustard is quite popular in some other Japanese foods. Particularly they like to do this fermented bean breakfast thing and they put hot mustard on it. So it's a fairly popular flavor in Japanese, which is where I bought these, in Japanese cuisine. So I thought this might work. It might actually improve the flavor a little bit. Maybe the wetness from these sauces. All the sauces I've chosen have sort of a liquid aspect to them or an oil aspect to them. So I thought maybe that might get rid of the dryness of the crab as well. So we'll start off with a little bit of mustard, see if that improves these little crab things. There's a weird contrast between the sweet, which is obviously a sweet coating on these crabs, and the mustard. But the dry, man, it just comes back, and the flavor of the mustard goes away pretty quick. Oh, that's almost makes it more bitter. My God, the mustard just makes the end of these just so bitter. That didn't work at all. Oh, that's just like a bitter fish food in my mouth. Little flakes of it. It's gross. Okay. Why don't we try ranch dressing? So ranch dressing, I mean, the reason I chose ranch dressing over anything else was it is the only solid dressing that I had in my fridge. Everything else was like a vinaigrette. So I thought, and ranch kind of goes on things, like people put it on wings and other savory things other than salad. So I thought it's worth a try. I don't think ranch normally goes with seafood, so that's going to be a little weird, but let's give it a try and see how it works out. Ranch dressing. Better than the mustard, strangely enough. So that fish foody flavor at the end. Ah. But it's not as bitter as it was with the mustard. For some reason, the mustard just amped up that bitterness, but this one, the sweetness sort of stuck around a little bit. It's not great. It improved it a little bit, but it's not great. The sweetness was fighting, the sweet coating that seems to be on these crab things was kind of fighting the ranch at first, and that kind of made it a little bit gross. So, yeah, not a huge fan. The next one I want to try, though, the next one seems to make the most sense. Garlic and butter. Garlic and butter seems to make the most sense because it's what you put on seafood. Shrimp, you can put garlic and butter on shrimp, you can put it on lobster, and of course you can put it on crabs, even tiny little crabs. I also figure that the oil from the butter might last a little longer, like the fat tends to stay in your mouth a little bit longer. So I think this might work. I don't know. The garlic hopefully will kill the flavor long enough to get it through my mouth, but garlic and butter on tiny little crab snacks. Better. It tastes almost a little bit like lobster, like the lobster had, although it's drier. It's the closest that I've come to actually sort of it tasting like what I'm used to crab and lobster and shrimp to taste like. Which leads me to the theory that I've always believed, and why one of the reasons I don't eat much shellfish is I realized that my favorite thing about shellfish was the garlic and butter. So why am I eating the shellfish? Finally, I think we should try something a little unorthodox, a little strange. How about Nutella? This was actually the first idea I had with these was because I believe that chocolate can improve everything. And every once in a while I'm doing an episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That? I've messed this up completely. Every once in a while, when I do an episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That? I say to myself in the back of my head, I say, Chris, I bet if you add Nutella or chocolate to that, it would improve it greatly. So we're going to put that to the test. Can Nutella improve these sort of fish foody, bitter crab things? And I'm hoping this is the last one I have to eat. It did improve it, but improved it the same way the butter did. It basically made the flavor of the crab go away. So it didn't really go with the crab as much as it just hid that kind of gross crabby flavor. and just tasted like a thing of Nutella, in which case I'm saying, why spend money on a bag of Tamago Gani when you can just buy a jar of Nutella and eat that instead? So I think what we learned here is maybe skip the Tamago Gani, just get a bunch of spreads, some bread, enjoy yourself. I'm not a big fan of this Tamago Gani. I think that was the last one I'm going to eat. I think I'm done. Well, thanks for watching another episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That? As always, you can follow us on Twitter @CandyCritic, or you can go to candycritic.org and find links to all of our other social media, including Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. You can also go to patreon.com/candycritic, and there you can follow us and you can get all kinds of extra content. You can see these videos early. We have a Friday video every single Friday where I just talk about what's going on Candy Critic. And even if you join a certain tier, you could actually get candy delivered to you from me. In fact, if you sign up soon on one of our higher tiers, I will send you what's left of this Tamago Gani. I'll split it up amongst whatever patrons sign up for that tier. So thanks for watching another episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That? And we'll see you next time. Bye.